Hello YouTube, Dom of the Dow here, and today I am bringing you guys the best Viking character in For Honor, and I have my own little raid sheet, my own little way that I rank these characters. So I'm going to go through that with you guys first, and then I'm going to go through, and then at the end I'm going to tell you exactly which character I think is the best because of that. So let's get right into the video. So how I decided to rate these characters was a point system, essentially. So I have a little point system written down here that I thought was good, that I thought had listed the best characteristics to determine an outcome of a fight. And those are the regular offensive moves, so what you do when you're just standing in front of somebody, that's worth 20 points. Then you have mix-ups, obviously those are very important, 20 points for that, and in that as well I am going to include feints, things you can do off of feint as well. Defensive, 20 points, so those are just, defensive moves like parries, deflects, anything like that. Health, I thought this one was a little bit less important, but still carried some weight. That one's only 8 points. And then guard break punish, I feel like that's very important, so I gave that one 10 points, not 20. I mean, it's rather small, but it is still important. So let's get right into the characters. So first up is Raider. Now for Raider, he has some good mix-up options. He doesn't really have too many defensive options. I don't think his regular offense, without using his mix-ups isn't very good. But yeah, let's get into the rating. So for his regular offensive, that's the one that's out of 20. That's just what you're doing when you're standing right in front of him. I decided to give him 12 out of 20. I'm using the midway mark as the standard, so that's like the standard across the game, all the characters, right? And I think he's a little bit better than standard, just because of his dash and the overhead like punch in the face with his axe that stuns the enemy. The stunning tap, that's what it's called. So the stunning tap, that's the only reason I gave him above the standard, because obviously you stun them, you can open them up for a guard break, wave attack, whatever. Super easy. It's really easy to do. Also, he has his dash guard break, so his dash guard break is pretty good to mix up in there. And then for his mix-up, I gave him 15 out of 20. I think it's pretty clear why. He can cancel any of his heavies during the startup into the stunning tap. He can also cancel his wave attack into the stunning tap. And this provides a heavy mind game, because sometimes you let those heavies go, sometimes they won't be prepared for it, and sometimes you do the stunning tap. You can really mess people up that way. And it is a great mind game. So that's why I threw that one at 15. It's above standard. And then for his defensive, I gave him the standard 10 out of 20. Doesn't have any options, doesn't have any parry abilities, doesn't have any deflects. Pretty simple. Health, gave him 6 out of 8 because he has standard health pretty much. The only one that's going to get 8 out of 8 on that is Shugokai, just because he has the most health in the game. And then for the final one, guard break punish, I decided to give him a 7 out of 10. He doesn't get a free heavy off the guard break, but he does get his wave attack, and he can charge them into a wall and knee them in the face, which stuns them, and then you get a free light attack after that. But combine those two, that's basically the same as a heavy if you're near enough to a wall. So I gave him 7 above standard for that. So Raiders' final score is 50 out of 78. Alright, so the next character we got on our list is Warlord. Now, Warlord's pretty straightforward. His moveset, he's not very tricky. He's pretty straightforward. He doesn't have a lot of options, but the options he does have work pretty well. So for his regular offensive, I've gave him the standard 10 out of 20. The only reason being he only has 3 combos, and they each consist of 2 buttons. He has a light heavy, heavy heavy, and a heavy light. I think that's it. So the only reason that it brings him up to standard is because of his headbutt, light, and his leaping attack, where he's uninterruptible on the heavy. Well, he's uninterruptible on all of his heavies, but that's the only reason that he gets the standard, is because of that uninterruptible ability. Then on his mix-ups, I gave him standard 10 out of 20. He doesn't have any options other than the feint light, feint guard break game, and that's about all he has right there. His defense, I decided to give him 20 out of 20. He has got, in my opinion, the best defensive options in the game. He could go into his full block stance just before an attack. If someone hits it, he can go into his headbutt, stab. He can do a stab back. He also has parry options. So if he parries, he can do a charging headbutt and then stab. Yeah, a lot of headbutts. But yeah, I think he has the best defense in the game, best defensive options. 6 out of 8 for health, obviously, you know, just standard. And then his guard break punish, I decided to give him 5 out of 10. It's pretty standard across all characters. Well, it should be standard at least that you get a free heavy, but he can also throw them into walls and other things like that. So I'm actually probably going to bump that up to 7. I'm probably going to bump his guard break punish up to 7 because of his pushing ability with the guard break. He can push him into walls and all that stuff. So Warlord's final score is 53 out of 78. Alright, so next up is Berserker. Now, I love Berserker. He's one of my favorite characters. Is he that good? I don't know if he's that good, though. So his regular offensive, I decided to rate that at 15 out of 20, simply because he can bombard you with attacks left and right in his infinite chain, and his heavies are uninterruptible. So, yeah, and his lights are pretty quick. His lights are very quick, so he can start that chain and he can go into it very quickly. Plus, his overhead heavy, I think, does the most damage for a single move in the game. It does an insane amount of damage. I think it's near 2 bars. And it really creates a good weapon for him, for people to be afraid of that. Now, his mix-ups, I gave him standard 10 out of 20. He doesn't have anything special. He can basically just feint guard break, feint light, feint heavy. He can feint to the side light. That's about it for him. Not a ton there. His defense, I gave him 10 out of 20. He does have the deflect, which gives you a free guard break, which is very good. But then you also have to counterbalance that with the fact that he has a vanishing block. And I think it evens out to about standard. I think most assassins are that way. Now for his health, standard 6 out of 8, pretty clear. And then finally for his guard break punish, I decided to give him 7 out of 10. He can land a side light for free. He could also throw you into a wall and get that free overhead heavy. That is where he gets the 7, is because of that overhead heavy, which does an insane amount of damage, especially if the person is out of stamina. You throw them on the ground, you can get a light first, and then that overhead heavy take out about 2.5 bars. It's absolutely ridiculous. So my total for Berserker is 49 out of 78. Alright, so next up we have Valkyrie, and for Valkyrie, I think Valkyrie is a very well-balanced character. She has a lot of different options, a lot of different mix-ups, good offensive moves as well. So, for her regular offensive, I decided to give her a 12 out of 20. She can end any of her chains, well, she's above standard, but she can end any of her chains with the sweep, which knocks you on the ground, which gives her a free heavy, I believe. Now, the only thing with that is it is very predictable, and it's easy to dodge if you know the timing. And yeah, it's incredibly predictable, because we've all been spammed by those fucking Valkyries that just spear sweep over and over and over again. And then also, after she lands a heavy, she can go straight into, well, whether her heavy is blocked or not, she can go straight into the shield crush, which hits him with the shield. It's just a charge like that. And then she also has, I didn't know if to include this in the defensive or offensive, so I included it in the offensive because I think people use it as an offensive tool most of the time, and that is her full block stance, which goes directly into her shield charge. But you can also cancel that, but that's part of the mix-ups. So anyway, I decided to give her a 12 out of 20 because of that, a little above standard, but her moves are predictable, and that's the only reason it's not higher. So then for her mix-ups, I decided to give her 13 out of 20. I think they're pretty good. I'm not sure how effective they really are, though. So when she cancels her startup of her heavy into a shield crush and it hits her opponent, it basically just knocks him back unless they're out of stamina. I think it'll knock them down. But it really doesn't do much more than that. Maybe drains their stamina a little bit. Her spear sweep, after after, what is it, the guard break, and then you push them again, then you can do the spear sweep. And like I've been saying, I mean, it's predictable. I think it's a free hit though. If you get the guard break, you can spear sweep them, but there's really no point. You're just going to drain your own stamina because she gets a free heavy off the guard break anyway. So then for her defensive, I decided to give her 13 out of 20. She can dodge in any direction, and her dodge will match that direction. And if she blocks an attack while dodging, she can go directly into her little stab thing when she hits heavy after that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I see there she does have the full block stance, but she has to dash backwards to even get in that. And nowadays, no one is gonna hit you. Is going to hit a Valkyrie while she's in her full block stance unless you're totally new to the game. And then her health, standard 6 out of 8. And her guard break, I decided to give her 5 out of 10, just standard, just because she gets a free overhead heavy. Nothing special about it except for the spear sweep. But I mean, that only leads you into an overhead heavy anyway, so it doesn't really do much good. So the total for Valkyrie is 49 out of 78. Alright, so our final character is Highlander, and I've done a ton of Highlander videos, so I should have this one pretty on point. So for his regular offensive, I gave him 12 out of 20. He can't really do much. The only reason he gets above average is because of his crushing counter-strike in any direction. Only reason I gave him that, plus his overhead heavy, well, it's heavy. I mean, they do a good amount of damage, so that's the only reason. And then his mix-ups, that's what I included mix-ups as offensive form as well. I gave that one 12 out of 20, just slightly above average, simply because he doesn't get enough damage in that state to even warrant going into it. And plus, he can't block. So if someone can predict when you're going into it, they can just light attack you and take you right out of it. If you can get into it long enough to go into a kick or a grab, great, but it's not always effective. So yeah, that's why he has the 12 out of 20. Now for his defense, he can't do anything special, so I gave him 10 out of 20. And then for his health, he's got standard 6 out of 8. Now his guard break, he's one of the few that are actually below standard. So he can only land his wave attack, which takes out half of his damn stamina, and it doesn't even do that much damage. I don't think it does as much damage as a heavy. Hopefully they fix that here soon. But so for that, I gave him a 4 out of 10. Now the total for Highlander is 44 out of 78. So now I'm also going to preface this with the fact that a lot of these characters are specialty characters too. So this rating system isn't necessarily conclusive. If you play very defensive, with the Warlord, you're gonna beat no one I think in Vikings has a better score than Warlord, but against other characters that may have a better score against him. If you play defensive, you may win. If you play smart with Highlander, you can win. If you play smart with any of these characters, you can win. You play towards their specialties. But as it stands right now, I have Warlord as the #1 Viking character. I don't think that's much of a surprise, really. And then Raider is second, and I think that was pretty clear. But then I have Berserker and Valkyrie. They are tied for third. Honestly, I would put Berserker above Valkyrie because of his feint game. So if you get someone that's going to play that feint game with him really heavy and they're really good at it, then I think they can be better than a Valkyrie. But again, that's just playing towards the specialty. So right now they're tied. And then Highlander is last. I think that one is pretty clear why. I don't think that one was too unexpected. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I really hope to do these videos for Viking and Samurai as well. I don't know them as well, so that might be like a Saturday thing that I do. I might do that, and then I might compare all the heroes in a final video about 3 weeks from now. So that'd be really cool. Let me know if you like the video. Drop a like, drop a comment. If you have any questions, disagree with me, think I'm full of shit, please drop a comment and I will happily have a discussion with you. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Later today I'm going to put up a commentary gameplay of Injustice 2. I am playing with Blue Beetle and getting my ass kicked a little bit, so that should be fun. But anyway, guys, I will see you guys later today.